Welcome to ASCENT. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted. I'm here with a twin flame ascension reading. This will be one of the last readings of 2020, and we will be looking at some of the closures that are happening for the twin flame community, where the energies of the last year, 2 years, 3 years for the community itself, but also the energies of the last long, many times, many moons have passed for so many other cycles. So much rare energy is coming to a close and coming to a start in this 2020-2021 time frame. It's all jumping and kicking off this next decade, next 20 and next 30 years, as well as some obviously much longer cycles. So as we look at this, we have to see that the twin flame community coming to kind of a peak in many ways, just in terms of awareness and connectivity at such a time as this is not an accident. So our job is to figure out, as twin flames, who are we? What are we really doing here? And to not repeat the cycles that keep us feeling lost. The divine masculine wandered well, okay? They were lost but not lost. The divine feminine wandered but didn't realize that how do I say this? You were wandering, didn't realize you were wandering, didn't realize you were supposed to be wandering, and wondered why you felt the way you felt, because you felt stagnant the whole time. But it was more kind of this, and I get this sense of this have you seen one of those videos where the person takes a picture of their face every day, and it's in their face is in the exact same spot, but their background changes, and their hair grows, and but their face is right there, and there's that time lapse. That's how the divine feminine kind of felt in 2020. You got bogged down with stuff. You would kind of go through these mini cycles within the year and just go through the same old things, and you're just kind of like, whatever sometimes. Like, it was very interesting. So it wasn't that you didn't wander well. It was just that you really didn't know what was going on. I think many of you in 2020 opted out of the 3D. Many of you, even if you had to like really be out in the front of everything that was going on, when you went home or you were in your quiet space, you were in the 5D. You were out of there. So this is interesting to see how the divine feminine, now that you kind of have awoken and you're going into this 2021 energy and you're seeing the possibilities and you're realizing that something kind of feels familiar about it. There are some things that are opening up for you. There's just a lot of exciting energy, and it's starting to kind of, get you loosey goosey again. You're starting to, you ever seen Chris Kattan in Undercover Brother, when they start to play the music? What is it? It's when they're playing Mary J. Blige and he starts tapping his foot and he can't stop dancing. That's what's happening to the divine feminine right now. The heart inside you that had waxed cold is now melting. You are grinching it out right now, growing 3 sizes, all these different things. It's just really great. And it's because you no longer see your future in the same way. And it's allowing you to see so many other possibilities and opportunities, and actually have both your 5D and your 3D coming together in a way that feels so good. This release of all the old stuff has now also allowed you to integrate with a higher version of yourself. So many of you are also feeling the pains of that. I've been having a lot of pains in the area where I am assuming my wings are growing larger or something. Cause I've always had shoulder, like, but it's inside, like even when I would go to a chiropractor, it's behind my shoulder blade. And I've always known it's like every time I'm going through something, my stress, right? My the back pain. No, it is ascension symptoms. Look, it's, look at that. The both of them have wings, and it's the 8 of Pentacles. And I pulled this up to show you this, and this is what I feel. Some of you have been feeling that as well. Ask yourself, what are you? Some of you know where you're from, Lumerian, starseed, something or another, blah, blah, this and that. Like, where are you from? What are your things? Is it your eyes? Is it your, do you guys have tails? Has your coccyx been, your tailbone been hurting? Like, it's like, just think about it. Are you a I don't know, do you hold like a staff in your dreams? Have you been, has your hand been cramping up? Like, just think about it. There have been ascension symptoms that have been coming out in the physical a lot for the past, I'm going to say again, since the 1111 portal. So a lot's happening. Be aware of these things. Now, with all of that being said, I know that your interest is piqued. I know that you are here from the original blessing. I'm going to start to lay out the spread now. I'd like you all to begin typing in questions that you have either about 2020 or 2021. If you type in a personal question, I'm going to ignore it. So if you'd actually like your question to be answered, I would recommend that you type it in a way that sounds like it's for the collective, because this is not meant to be a personal reading. Please don't clog up the chat with your personal questions. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Oh, welcome, Queen. Welcome to all my new members. What's up? What's up? I appreciate you guys. I am now going to the chat to answer the questions from the collective. If you have a question, ask the question in the chat and we will answer the question. If you're struggling to find a way to word your question into a personal question, but you really think that it should be answered, go ahead and ask it, and if I think it should be answered, I will reword it myself, okay? If I think it's a good answer for everybody. All right, cool. So I'm just going to go up to the top here. Okay. So let's start. This is very good. What do I need to do to reflect? What do I need to reflect on before this full moon in Cancer? Now, some of you are coming to this reading at a later date, later time. So you may want to look back again to, those last few days of 2020, first few days of 2021. You also might want to, if you're watching this around summer or after summer, think about summertime. Ask yourself, what's going on right now? Okay. We do have, I don't think it's in Cancer, but we do have an eclipse happening as Cancer season comes to an end. So just keep that in mind as well. And I think the last thing I'll say about the Cancer full moon is, again, the domestic closure. It's so important before I pull whatever, I don't know where I'm going to go yet, but whatever I do grab, it's so important that you ask yourself, what is the domestic closure I believe from the blessing? If I heard that part, what did I think about when I considered it? Okay. So what do we need to be reflecting on? What do we need to be thinking about when it comes to our domestic partnerships, our domestic situations? Do you have them with DM and DF? Here, let's go here. Let's do one where we've got everybody, okay? So this will be for the entirety of the collective. What am I going to look at first? Yeah, we're going to look here first. All right. Divine Masculine, Queen of Swords. Divine Feminine, Eight of Wands. I think there is a sense of urgency. Actually, we're going to go here. There's a sense of urgency. See this 18? To go within. There's a part of you that needs to handle the... this is going to sound weird, right? But I see someone who has a dog, right? So put yourself in their shoes, please. Many of you are empaths, and you don't understand that when I tell a story or a parable, or I even talk about myself or Mr. Lightwork, I'm trying to help you by giving you an opportunity to feel your way into the situation, and you block it because it's like, this is not enough about me. And it's like, come on, empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of being with a partner and you guys getting a dog. You got the dog to see if it was going to work out between you two before you had a kid and really went the wrong direction in your relationship. You found out it's not going to work, so you decide you're going to split up. Now you got to figure out who gets the dog. The way that this should be done is not to be spiteful and angry and all, because guess what? Here's the funny part. There is an original thought process by one or both people to fight over the dog, but one of those people doesn't even like dogs. You know, it's like, and so there's this sense of there's something that needs to be handled in your life right now with kindness and thought. Think about it. Because if you don't even like dogs, but you just want to spite your partner, you're going to have to deal with that dog. Okay? You're going to have to deal with that dog. Do you understand me? There's another part, though. There's a part of you that needs to be fierce, and you need to do it now. I'm sensing kind of the whole idea of the ripping the Band-Aid off. So interesting. We need to handle something that we would probably tend to handle things in a masculine way with a little bit more softness and femininity, you know, and there we need to handle something that we might tend to handle more with like a wild aggressiveness, with more of a very, I'm talking direct shot. I'm talking sniper, very quick to the point, kill shot. Okay. Turn it to the side, kill shot. I don't know why I'm, but okay. So how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we find a way as we're coming to close out this year, this cycle, and how do we make sure that we don't do these things again? How do we make sure that we don't get into a situation where we're not happy, where we don't feel good? How do we get how do we get ourselves out of these situations quickly? What is our 5D trying to say to us right now? Wow. Ask yourself if this will matter when you get to where you're trying to go. 10 of Pentacles says happy family life, happy, prosperous life that allows you to give in your abundance. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful feeling. So why are you not able to do this now? Why are you not able to let this go or rip the Band-Aid off or handle things kindly and do the right things? Look, it's got dogs. Isn't that funny? You know why? Because your mind is on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the problems or the negatives or the issues instead of focusing on what's to come, the goodness, the great possibilities of the future. Okay? So what do you need to be reflecting on? Reflect on where you want to be. Many of you have heard me talking about it. And again, this is because now is the time where a lot of my clients, even before I had this ministry, I used to have a ministry back in the day where one of the things I offered was helping people like organize their house and stuff, like home organization, but more. It was also a mental thing. It was psychological a bit. And so one of the things that you will hear me talk about, just because it's kind of still a part of my life and my ministry with my life coaching, is cleaning up your house, getting things in order, getting yourself a functional life that facilitates the lifestyle that you want to live. Looking at the aesthetic is really important moving forward. Getting it to the point where your home is like a museum of your life, and it's a place of peace for you and a place of joy, or a place where people can come together. I want you to start to think about the aesthetic of your future, the aesthetic of 2021. Think about the aesthetic of your family. That's not a good way to put it, but I guess, yeah, if you look at a family photo, a candid family photo out of a family reunion, who's there? What are you guys doing? I want you to really start to think, if you could just take a snapshot of your life in the future, not a planned one really, not something where, I don't know, you make everything look perfect, but where it really just is. What does it look like? Because this right here says both divine counterparts need to make some very calculated moves right now, and kind of in both ways quickly, in order to ensure that they do not start the new cycle with the old stuff, because it's going to weigh you down. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. What I feel like is right now you have the chance to get off the ground, right? Like you're playing, and it's like only once a year this is gonna sound weird, but this is what I see. Only once a year does this certain runway line up with a certain alignment, so where you could fly directly through a portal into the other dimension. And guess what? Last year you missed it. Why? Because last year you couldn't get your plane off the ground because you had too much crap. They told you the weight limit. They told you not to do it, and you did it anyways. You couldn't get off the ground. The year before that, you didn't even make it to the airport. The year before that, you didn't even know there was a flight. So you're getting better. You're getting closer. But this is the year that you need to be focused more on what you're going to do when you get there than you are right now. You cannot allow anything to stop you this time, okay? This is the time. All right, so let me go back to questions here. Preparing, what are we reflecting on before this full moon? What do you really want? All right, what do you really want? What is the best way to maintain focus on my light work and stay organized? That's funny. That's actually really, really funny. I'm going to go right underneath. This is a message for the divine feminine. I kind of looked at it, but I didn't know what the question was going to be. So look, interesting. Look at this right underneath. To focus on your light work and to stay organized, you're going to need to let go of the things that are making you unorganized. We already know that, right? We see that. We got to get rid of the stuff that's slowing us down. But I think that you also need to maintain a better awareness of what keeps you in that position. Something happened this year that forced you to realize just how out of whack and out of sync your life really is sometimes. And you did not like that feeling. And it was in the 3D, you noticed it. That's another reason why I think a lot of divine feminines especially kind of just escaped out of the 3D world this year the best that they could. So divine feminine, really, this is who this is directed to, because you're the one who is aware of your light work. The divine masculine is now going to start the process that you were in a ways back. They're about to start that process now, where they kind of just try this with their light work. You're going to be a lot more focused because of the awareness that you've had for a while, and the knowledge that you're the one who's going to lead your dynamic into this 10 of Pentacles. So you also need to become very aware, because just because you've gotten rid of something doesn't mean it doesn't come back and creep back in, especially if it's something you've dealt with for a long time. So getting rid of stuff, whether it's spiritually or physically, is really important right now. And then being aware of how that stuff got there is really even more important, so it doesn't happen again. Why? Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to accomplish your dreams. Why? Because you're not going to be able to nourish yourself. You're not going to be able to love yourself. You're going to have so many things that you're worried about still bogging you down. This year, 2021, is all about refocusing. And I love the fact that you asked that question. And the problem with 2020, the reason why it was like, it did help us to kind of focus, but it was a little bit more challenging is because of the unknowns. 2021, there's still going to be a lot of unknowns, but because they're about unknowns that we already didn't know about, we've kind of become desensitized to it. Also, we're going to get a little bit of answers on some things that are really bothering us. But really, most people are just deciding, I'm not having another 2021. I don't care what happens in the world. I'm going to have my best life because I could go tomorrow. A lot of people have that feeling. So if you get yourself stuck in 2020 energy in 2021, you are going to be more miserable than everyone else because you're going to really wonder, how the heck is everyone else doing so well? How the heck is everyone else able to handle this and I can't? Now I feel crazier. Now I feel really alone and no one believes me. And it's like, listen, they believe you. They just don't care because they don't have time. It's kind of, honestly, 2021 is going to be every man for himself, but in a good way. It's like everyone taking a year to do self-care, self-love, enjoying themselves, after a year of trauma. So if you get caught up in the maintaining the trauma and nourishing negative things and all of that, you're not going to be able to focus on what you were supposed to be focusing on because you're not even going to have the clarity of the dream itself. The divine masculine does have a vision. They do have a vision, and it's really, really beautiful. But if you're not in union or they are not able to articulate it yet, if they haven't grown to a space to be able to show you what they see in their head or in their spirit, it doesn't matter. So don't depend on them and their vision, and don't depend on the vision that you've had, because obviously that has not worked out the way you planned multiple times. There's some things you're going to have to let go of. And until you can clear out this stuff, just let it go for now. Focus the best that you can on getting yourself to a space of happiness and a space where you can dream again. Why? Because if you don't, the discontentment will take you down. Think about your worst days of 2020. Do not allow those days to become months in 2021. Stay organized, stay focused by getting yourself to a point where you're able to give proper attention to what needs proper attention. The reason why this person was not able in the Four of Cups to accept the other cup is because they had 3 cups sitting there. They didn't want any more cups because they already had cups. You're bogging yourself down with things you don't care about, so much so that you're not even willing to check out what comes in the new cup. You don't even know what's in the new cup. He's sitting on the ground. The cup is at eye level, and he does not know what's in that cup. And yet, he says, I'm good. This discontentment was supposed to make you say, let me check what's in the next cup, not make you so sad you give up. This moment says, hey, listen, if you've been feeling like you've been sitting in your own filth, spiritually, physically, mentally, you know what I'm saying? If you've been feeling like you've been sitting in just yucky for so long, clean it up, clear it out, set up your new space, set up your new life. If you're late to work every morning, set it up the night before. I know that might sound like, Grace, what are you talking about? But it's like, listen, many of you are going to ask a question about getting organized and focusing on your light work. And I'm not talking about the person who asked this. I'm just saying a lot of people will ask these questions, but then not actually do anything to get themselves to a place where they can work alongside spirit, work in alignment, do what you need to do. So if you don't get rid of the stuff that's stopping you from noticing the signs or stopping you from being able to make the moves you want to make, if you don't start to clear the things away that you do have control of, when you're given the opportunity to control something new or just an opportunity in general to do much of anything, you're going to say no, because everything that comes my way is crap. Of course you feel that way if that's all that you see around you. So there's definitely some opportunities here for you to make a difference right now in the 3D. Now, again, it could be a mental or a spiritual thing that's affecting your 3D life, right? But whatever it is, make a choice, make a decision, because when you do that, boom, you'll finally be able to see what you're doing. You'll be okay with the fact that you're just in the very beginning. You're just now really getting started, and you'll be kind of excited about it. You'll be really, really excited about the opportunity that you have to just do you, only focus on your thing, not be worried about what everybody else has going on, not have to hold on to things that aren't even yours to keep. There's something about what you're letting go of right now that's just going to make the next cycle of your life feel so much easier even though it's going to be really challenging, you're just going to love it because you're going to love your work. You're going to love what you're doing. So look, I'm going to put it to you like this. I think the reason that this question was asked was because a lot of divine feminines and masculines out there are going to start to have some things happen in their 3D life that allows them to do light work in the 3D, not just kind of in the 5D working in the background. And I think what this is telling you is, you know, some of you need to get your resume together. Some of you need to clean your house up or get rid of things because you're about to move, because you're about to get an opportunity to do something. Some of you need to go have that conversation with your family, your friends, your bosses. Some of you need to, you know, buy that website domain. Like some of you need to take the step towards your light work because it's going to trigger other things. So if you want to get there, if you want to move forward, you're going to have to start something. And that thing is going to make you realize, oh, if I do this, then I have to do this. And it's going to start an avalanche. Okay. Snowball to avalanche. Final message here. What you need to understand is if you struggle with any of this stuff and you say, Grace, I've been hearing you say this all year. And the truth is I want to, I just don't know how. I looked down at the right moment. Somebody says no support. Listen, I feel you on that. So what I'm going to tell you is even more important for any of you who feel the same way. Like, yeah, I don't have enough support. I can't do this, right? I want you to hear me when I say you doing your light work and your reunion journey are the same freaking path. So if you find that you cannot find the motivation to do what you need to do for any other reason, find the motivation in your union. Again, some of you don't get excited when I say, get yourself to a place where you can figure out what's the aesthetic that you want for 2021. But if I can say to you, hey, tell me what the house looks like that you and your divine masculine lives in. Tell me about a day that you guys have. I bet you can tell me that. So when you say that you have struggles and trouble seeing your dreams and figuring out how to get there or having the motivation to make them start, not feeling supported enough, I think it's because you're still looking through the wrong lens. I'm not telling you that suddenly you'll have the support. What I'm telling you is suddenly you'll say, if I got support, I want that. I want that life. I'm going to figure this out. So very interesting to see. Those of you who are trying to figure out, why have I not been able to start my light work? Why am I struggling so much with understanding how my light work and my union go hand in hand? That's coming to an end in 2020 anyways. 2021, beautiful energy. One of the things that's come up in the astrology, as well as all the readings that I did for 2021, even the forecast, is there's going to be a shift in our understanding of how relationships work. To see the project card kind of come up, to see, this is, a lot of people don't know that the Four of Wands is a project management card. Okay. It's about the plan, everything going effectively, efficiently, you know, putting everything into it, finding joy in it, because it goes well, maintaining control and getting it done. So seeing this here tells me this is going to be a little bit of a project for a lot of you, but it's finally going to be one you'll put your mind to once you start to repurpose the vision and instead use your twin flame dynamic for good rather than for evil in your life. Meaning thinking about it on the good days and ignoring it on the bad days, using it for your benefit to get you excited and motivated to move forward, and ignoring the dumb stuff your divine masculine does that make you feel like you're wasting your time. Because the truth is, if you spend the next 3 months getting your whole life together, your house in order, working on yourself, working on your body, you know, getting everything done, whatever you feel like you're supposed to do for the next 3 months, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I've been dealing with a false twin. Well, guess what? You still super fine, your house is in order, and it sounds like you're pretty much ready for the next person that comes in, if that's your thing, right? So if you can live a life over the next however long, getting yourself ready for your light work where you don't have regrets, who cares what you do in that time? It's only if you move forward as a twin flame in misery that you will look back and have those regrets and go, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But if you don't have regrets, if you are doing the right thing, if you are living your best life and using the twin flame dynamic and concept and the excitement of the possibility, the anticipation of the sacred partnership to help you along, to help you shape your vision when nothing else excites you, that's where you're doing it right. That's where you realize this is why my twin flame was revealed, even though we were going to be in separation. I appreciate this. So divine feminine, I thought, this is so funny. I looked down and I see project partner, but I thought it said perfect partner. And I was about to say to you, yes, do what you can right now to start trying to become the perfect partner so that your divine counterpart will have to step up and be that for you. This is wild. Okay, so I'm going to go and find some more questions, people. Okay. Are unions going to be sporadic in 2021 or happen in a certain time frame? Okay. Unions are always happening every day of every moment, every year, unions are always happening. There are moments where there's an increase or a large group of unions, but it's not like they're happening at the same time. I will say though, just so you guys know, that August 22nd, 2021, there is going to be a huge peak in unions there. They're going to be leading up to it the whole time, like this to the 22nd of August, okay? And then they'll kind of go back and be regular. But as you can see, remember, they're going to be doing this the whole time, which means they're all through here as we lead up to that is going to be unions. 2020 and 2021 were big years for unions. 2020 was a big year for unions for people who were not in third-party situations. I warned you guys before I even knew what was going to happen. A lot of people talk about it in the comments that when they're watching old readings, they'll go, oh my gosh. People were like, you predicted the pandemic. I did not. However, what I was aware of is that the energies for some reason were supporting truth, a lot of truth in 2020. Again, 2020 clarity, 2020 vision, right? And interestingly enough, I knew that there was going to be a lot of domestic issues in 2020 with people who were with the wrong people. And now we're seeing all that come to fruition. A lot of third-party relationships are ending as we speak. But again, there's a lot of unions happening in 2020 and 2021. 2021 is where you're going to be able to see those more stubborn divine masculines really start to come around. All right. What is the best way to get someone to communicate clearly with you? I would say, let's go right here, okay? Because I have a feeling that this is a very important divine masculine question. What is it that's going to help us understand our divine masculine's communication better in 2021? But also, are there any insights that maybe we can receive about what we've been getting from them, right? Maybe there's going to be something that's like a missing link that comes in and helps you go, oh, that's what they were trying to say that whole time. All right, so what do we need to know? Ace of Pentacles. Remember that the divine masculine's mind is always on something else. So when they communicate, sometimes they're going to be communicating in ways that almost comes across as cryptic, but it's just because they're having more than one conversation with you. They're having an unspoken conversation, like a read between the lines conversation. And unfortunately, they're also having a conversation where they don't even know what they're saying. So there's an unspoken, like, I hope you hear this. And then there's an unspoken coming from their 5D saying, I hope you hear this. And then there's what they're actually saying to you. So having a very clear understanding that what you're getting from them will never be clear, that's helpful, right? That allows you to say, okay, I need to put myself into my divine masculine's mind frame before I even open a conversation with them. And that's going to alleviate a lot of the confusion and a lot of my, jumping to conclusions, kind of going a bit too quickly, because it's almost as like they're behind, like they're buffering when we have conversations. And it's like, that's not really what's happening. It's that you're understanding from your space, they're understanding from their space. If you want to talk to them, you're going to have to meet them where they're at. Okay. Why is that? Oh, because they're at a place where they don't feel strong enough to tell you what they need to tell you. Most of them cannot say what they need to say. And I think it's because a lot of them realize that what they can offer you right now is kind of like crumbs. It's not going to be enough. And in many cases, they know that the war isn't over yet. Whatever they're dealing with isn't done yet. So when it comes to getting someone to communicate clearly with you, I think it's in the question, how can I get someone to communicate? It's like, whatever they're communicating is them attempting to bring clarity in some way. Maybe they're not going to give you the answer you're looking for or even answer you directly. but what they say to you is still an answer nonetheless. So be aware that your divine masculine, I'm going to say for the past couple of years, has really been incapable of communicating clearly with you. However, if you take some time and go back and think about where they've been, there's going to be some shifts that come in your own mind when you go, oh my goodness gracious. And when you think about how often you've needed them to say more, do it faster, get back to me. How many of you have experienced, show me like the hand raise emoji or something. How many of you experience where you pour your heart out, not even just that they don't say anything, right? Like you say a bunch of stuff, you share a bunch of things, and they say, okay, I'm gonna think about it or something. They don't tell you how long they're gonna take with that. And because sometimes they just walk away and like don't ever come back on things, now you're left sitting there going, oh my God, when is he thinking about it now? Is she thinking about it now? What are they doing? Is it time? Can we talk about it again? So just understand that they are not communicating with you in the 5D, but you communicate with them from a 5D space a lot of the time. You find it difficult to go into their energy in the 3D, meet them where they're at, which is a very low vibration, focus on things that really just don't even matter. You're trying to talk about things that do matter. They need time to even understand what the heck you're talking about. And if you rush them, they're probably just going to say anything just to get you off their back so they can really think about it. So interesting that it's like, to get them to communicate clearly with you, listen and ask them to speak, ask them to clarify what they're saying, really focus on the words they're using. And if you say, so you're saying this, let them come out and correct you if they need to, but stick to what they're actually saying rather than trying to draw them over here. Because most of the time they've got this tunnel vision. And if you try to take them outside of the tunnel vision, they're going to lose their train of thought and get frustrated with you. Because they're like, listen, my mind is on my money. My mind is on, this thing I'm trying to accomplish. My mind is on, stop trying to bring me away from that. Stop trying to ask me about stuff. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry, but I've been trying to not think about you. I've been trying not to think about us. Why are you asking me this question? I don't know. It stresses me out, so I'm avoiding it. So listen to what they do say. Listen to what they do share. And final thing here is 6 of Pentacles. It's funny that we talk about crumbs, because that is what made me say crumbs. What made me say crumbs is the fact that this person only gives you a little bit, and you really have to understand why that is. Now, I'm gonna be real. I think they think they're giving you a lot. I think they think they're giving you everything. I think they think they're being very clear with you. That's important for you to remember. The next time you have a conversation with someone, your DM most likely, and they communicate something with you, they think in their mind that they're speaking clearly. So take some time and try to figure it out. I know that might sound weird, but they think that they are. So if that's what they think, if they think that what they've said is succinct enough, figure it out. Interesting. I get a sense that we have a little bit of a message from our DM here that says, listen, my mind is not going to be on what you are thinking about. And a lot of the time I get the sense here that he's saying this now, you kind of tend to drop in with these questions and these hard conversations. Oh, and a lot of the times you've been thinking about them for a long time, planning them in your mind, having them over and over, figuring out what you're going to say. And then you drop it on them and expect them to be ready for that conversation with you. And then you kind of rush through because you already know the script, but you don't know the script, but you think you know the script. So I get the sense that the DM is saying to you, like, listen, I also have a little bit of trouble getting through to you and understanding you. So if you can understand where I'm coming from, I already know you're coming from a place where you want to be with me now. You want to be with me. You want to have a life. You want to share things. I get that. But you know that I'm not there, but you talk to me like I am. So I just need you to understand that I'm not strong enough to tell you sometimes, like, which I know you don't want to hear, and you don't need to hear it, but you make me say it. So instead I give you what I can, because if you and I both have to have the conversation, the tough conversation, you and I both know we're not going to like it. So I think there's also the answer here that says, listen, I have been communicating clearly with you. Okay. This is interesting. Okay, this is a good one. Is this DF? This is DF. All right. Even if we have to temporarily let go of the idea of current union with the divine counterpart, how do we rebuild a healthy friendship, at least, that is good for both parties? So I think this question is going to be answered, and it's going to tell you if that is even possible. And it's also going to tell you that if you do or if you don't. So let's find out. Okay. What do we need to know about this? Page of Pentacles. Talk about crumbs. Divine Feminine, you want to know what a healthy friendship is? Crumbs. Crumbs. What do you mean, Fiery Grace? What are you talking about? A healthy friendship with your divine counterpart not being in union. A healthy friendship. Crumbs. You do not talk to this friend every day. This is not your best friend. This is not your road homie, road dog. This is not your partner in crime. This is your friend. You do not talk to them every day. You do not hang out with them all the time. This is not your best friend. In fact, if you and your divine counterpart have any kind of animosity or negativity or whatever, even if it's just on their part, you need to be even more distant. They're an acquaintance, okay? The way that you have a healthy friendship in 2021 until union comes, if you're not in union yet, if you're not in communication, if you're not in pseudo union of some sort, if you are trying to have a relationship with your divine counterpart where you can at least be in contact, the friendship is sporadic, kindness, just thinking about you. I'm seeing once a month at most. And that might hurt you guys, but those of you who know what ghosting and being blocked is like can tell those who don't appreciate that once a month. Don't lose them again, okay? So how do you rebuild a healthy friendship? Humble yourself. Behave as if you don't know them. Behave as if they're somebody new in your life. Don't bring up old things. Don't bring up the past. Don't try to rehash stuff. This is a friendship. It is a relationship of encouragement. It is a relationship of positivity. Tell them the hard truths. Don't harp on them. Don't be disrespectful. Be kind, but be open and real in that sporadic communication. Let them come to you. If you don't hear from your friend, maybe make it 2 months. See how long you can go without talking to them. I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. Some of you need to start yourself a private YouTube channel where all your videos are private or unlisted. And instead of calling your divine masculine or texting them, I know I get people comment all the time. I send my divine masculine random texts. He never responds. She never responds, but I send them anyways. I just send them things, and I've had people show me what they do. And they send these long, crazy, out of nowhere messages to these people who are like, what are you talking about? So I have a recommendation for those of you who just can't stop yourself, who just cannot help it, and you feel like you need to be all up in their life, on top of them all the time, even if you're just friends. And I'm not saying, again, to the people who ask these questions, I'm not talking about you. I take your question and then I leave your energy and I come back to the collective, okay? So my recommendation to you is either get yourself a journal, get yourself not even a journal, like a book that you can give them. Make yourself a video, a blog, something that when you get together, you can give to them. Like, oh, it's our wedding night, or I mean, it's the bachelorette party weekend. And I'm going to give you this thing that years ago I started because we weren't together and I needed you and I missed you and we were just friends. Sporadic, humble, kind, simple. Ask yourself what you would want in a friend, and then take like the top 3 themes and offer that to your person, with the one caveat of very, very limited communication. Okay? If they want to hit you up, match their consistency. But if they're not, and they're allowing you in their life, make sure you're not jumping in with your every month you spend the next 30 days between one communication and the other, sitting there plotting and planning that 15 minutes that you get with them because you're just so obsessive and controlling. Okay? Relax. All right, let's keep going. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Thank you also for those who continue to ask questions. Okay, so let's clarify our spiritual awakening for the past year. What do we need to understand about what's been happening in our life in 2020 so that we can better understand how our spiritual life will go in 2021? What do we need to understand? You have been learning how to maintain emotional balance in the midst of a storm, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of unknowns, in the gray area, in the fog. You have been learning, and again, this is 3D. That's why a lot of you did choose to escape to the 5D, because your 3D lessons and work this year were very tiresome. In some cases, tedious, because some of us have been there and we were like, look, man, do I really need this lesson again? Do I really? But we, unfortunately, sometimes we do have to join the collective in things and participate and help others. And our energy of strength and dominance through a challenge can help those who are on their last leg, because they see us go and they say, you know what? Yeah, I can't stop. I got to keep going. So wherever you were in this, no matter what, this year of 2020, the spiritual awakening that you experience as a divine feminine in particular was all about maintaining your balance. Why? Because when you get into union, your divine masculine is still going to be a bit behind. They're going to need to follow your lead, and you're going to have to be strong, not only through your stuff, but now through their stuff too. You're going to have to be strong for them as in a point where you thought they were going to come in and save you. And it's like, well, kind of, in a way. But once the novelty of union and being back together wears off and hits the fan, and now you still have to be the strong one. Yeah. If you're not ready for that, that's going to suck. But if you are ready for it, you're going to be like, thank you, God, for the opportunity to be strong for my divine counterpart. And I'm, Proverbs 31, perfect woman. I'm just wonderful. I'm such a strong man in this divine feminine, right? Oh, I don't know if you can see my face, the faces that I'm making. I know you can't see me, but just kind of like, yeah, so I can handle this. I'll do it. Instead of, I'll do it. The tests you went through in 2020 are nothing compared to the tests you are going to experience in 2021. And yet the tests you experience in 2021 are really going to be a cakewalk. Why? Because you were prepared. The heart is the decision maker of the being, and your heart was tested, strengthened, all of that in 2020. What is it that God was trying to do with all that? And I think in most of us did accomplish. Look at that. You need to be able, as the divine feminine, as the leader right now, even in your dynamic. And again, you're not always going to be the leader. There's going to be points where you guys stand side by side, and there's going to be points where your divine counterpart steps ahead of you. Okay. But right now you're the leader in the connection. And as the leader, when something happens in the 3D, not only do you have to weather the storm, but when the time comes to fight back and or to pick up the pieces and rebuild, you have to be the first one out there. You have to be the one leading the charge. And so you were learning this because God wanted you to be able to hear his still small voice even after the bomb exploded and you done lost your hearing. Do you understand what I'm saying? You were being built up. So it's funny because I talked to you guys about the fact that this year there was a bit of a disconnectedness with you and divine, and you in whatever you believe in, God, source, spirit, universe. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It wasn't because you weren't trying or because like some of you might have even gone to church or temple or Seder or whatever, read your books more than ever, meditated more than ever, but you just didn't feel right. You felt weird. And it was because you have been in the process of getting basically like downloading a new body within your body. Your emotional body was being worked on, but your spiritual body was integrating your next level of your higher self. There was so many things happening, and all of it was a part of your growth, because even this year, the reason why, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be real. You want to know what really was happening? And again, I'm speaking from my lens as a Christian of believing in God. So translate this as you need to. But what God was doing for me, so okay, what was happening for you guys on a perspective of source and your connection with divine in this year in 2020 to prepare you for next year was this. How do I? Okay, you were being given the information piece by piece, bit by bit, and God was actually lowering his voice each time or taking a step back from you. So, okay, imagine you're sitting in a chair in the middle of a room and someone's standing right beside you and they start to step back, step back, step back. Imagine, or maybe you're doing an eye exam and they keep changing the lenses and telling you to look at a smaller line and a smaller line and a smaller line. It was straining your hearing to strengthen it. So if you felt disconnected this year, that was on purpose. It was because you always had to tune your radio dial to the exact right station in order to be able to hear. And if you were one off, you were going to get the wrong message. But now you got a bigger satellite. You got a bigger, not satellite, what is it called? You got a bigger tower. Now your messages that you give and receive reach more and you can hear more. So it might have not have felt too good this year, but I promise you it was strengthening you, because the next move after this is the Fool. You this year in 2020 were clearing the way, and all the while you were getting strengthened so that when you took the leap, you were ready. What is it that you need to be ready for? 5 of Cups, 7 of Fire. Things did not turn out the way that you expected, but remember, the 2 shall stand. The 3 cups that you've been bored with and tired of, that they spilled. They're done. They're over. Remember what I told you. The domestic closures that are occurring this year are with things that you thought you knew you expected would kind of always be around. You guys want to know how crazy and how deep this goes? You want to know how deep this? My grandma passed away in March. Remember, I've been estranged from my family for a couple of years now, but I think there was a part of me that really hadn't thought about people leaving the planet before I ever got to talk to them again. That domestic closure that occurred right there was me moving forward with my life, but still kind of holding on to this old. That was, I no longer have a choice or an option. I also no longer have to have a doubt or a fear of should I go see my grandma before? Man, you know what? I know you guys are probably like, what? Gray, what? But again, what I'm telling you is there were things that you just kind of took for granted, but also things that, I don't know. I think a part of me always knew I was going to have to go back. But when she in particular passed, I have no reason now to go to my mom's side of my family. I know that sounds crazy, but she was my favorite person on my mom's side of my family. So it's like, whoa, I did not get to experience closure with that, but it closed for me. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You went through that as well. But when I turned around, I realized it really would not have made that big of a difference in my life either way with where I'm headed. Some of you experienced loss this year that was devastating, but some of you experienced loss this year that was a relief. I'm not really, that's a different transition from me talking about my grandma. Some of you experienced feelings of pain as you move forward, wondering, am I ever going to see these people again? Or wondering, oh no, not that person. Why did they have to fall off? Not everyone can go with you where you're going. So there's this sense of sadness. You look at the 5 of Cups and you think, really? I don't want that. I don't want that. But you know what? For me, God just made it so much easier for me to move forward. Thanks, God. I appreciate that. The truth is, with my grandmother leaving, and as long as my dad's alive, I don't have any reason to go back to my family. And I don't want my dad to go anywhere, so I guess I'm good. Bye, family forever. So it's like I'm looking at it and thinking, dang, this actually helped me out a lot. But it took a while to realize that was what really happened. Think about what went wrong this year that actually went right. Think about the setups, the setbacks and the setups. Think about the changes that happened this year that allowed the changes that are coming next year. Because if you had not have experienced this clearing the path, If you had not experienced this kind of I'm seeing the Six of Wands victory ride in motion. If you had not done these things and been prepared for what's next, for when the bad stuff comes again, you would have been wearing the cloak of death and mourning all freaking 2021. We also see the Seven of Wands here, which to me says, because you were willing in the 3D to accept this task, in the midst of the trauma and the pain that 2021 brought, you were still willing to stand up, to stand your ground, to fight, to move forward, even when it pained you. Of course it hurt me that I realized I did not get to say bye to my grandma. Dang, that's crazy. But I chose that. And that got taken away from me, and it would no longer became a question in my future. And somehow I'm able to breathe a little bit. Some of you don't want to admit some of the things that have changed this year that actually are good things. Some of you cannot see the good. Some of you are crying over things that, well, you can't change it. Just come on. I'm not telling you to get over it. I'm telling you to ask why. How could this be positive? How is this possible that this is a benefit to me? What is this encouraging me to do? Something changed for all of us. And the interesting thing is it's changed our perspective completely somehow. This is wild. This is wild. Divine Feminine, your connection with divine. You want to know? Oh, I just said some words. I just said some words and didn't even know what I was saying. You want to know the last thing? You know how I just said my grandma being gone and my dad still being here are the reason why I'll never go back to my family? And because I don't want anything to happen to my dad, I would just rather him be there and me be here. We'll be separate, right? Okay, cool. I'm not that desperate to be around my family that I'm like, Dad, you got to go, right? Okay, cool. So that was just my thought process. Then I look at this and I realize my dad and my grandma are also the two people I used to say they're the only two people who financially I ever could go to or who I ever needed. And the truth is, when I became estranged from my family and started my channel and finally just gave my all to my light work and my purpose without worrying about what anybody said, it was because I knew I did not have those two people I could call on anymore. That's a word for somebody. Somebody out there needed to understand that the hesitation that you had for starting your light work and moving in your purpose was also probably there because you felt like, I don't have any urgency. There's nothing I need to do. It'll all work. It'll all be all right. Meh, whatever. No big deal. Your perception have changed and now you're looking at it and you're going, nothing's enough until I get to my purpose. I want more. And now that I've had to be forced into this, I'm realizing I should have been here a long freaking time ago. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's keep going. 2021 is going to be a very interesting year because this made me depend on divine, right? This made me depend on God. So what happened in 2020 that forced you to depend on God, Source, Spirit, Universe more than ever? What forced you to learn how to become a master manifester? What forced you to be brave? Chazak, chazak. What forced you to be strong? What forced you to change your perspective, to pick up your sword and shield and say, I'm going to do this anyways? That's your answer. That's what this year was all about. And that's what next year you are already prepared for. Let's keep going. I'm sorry, but I'm looking for questions, guys. Thank you for continuing to ask questions. You never know if I still need more, so please feel free. But I'm also reading some of the things you're saying. I love you guys. Okay. How can we let go of expectation? How can we let go of expectation for 2021? Here. The Magician. Create your own reality. So this to me says, rather than having expectations, make plans. The only expectations you should be having are the ones that are tied to what you can control. If you can't control some of it, then have no expectations, right? But if you can control all of it, be purposeful, be intentional. That's how you're going to be able to maintain in 2021. Use the energy of this year, because I think what 2020 taught you is you really can't depend on anyone, and not in a bad way, in a good way. 2020 said, don't depend on people. Give people a chance to be there for you when they need to be, but don't put yourself into a position where when they're not, now you feel less than, or even maybe mad at them or whatever. Be the magician. That's how you release expectations. The magician does not expect someone else's work to work for them. They create opportunities. They look, one of the things a lot of people don't see about the magician card, look right here at this bush. Now look up here at this this vine of flowers up here, okay? You can kind of see similar red, right? Okay, red, we see, okay. But where does this bush start? Where is it starts right there, out of this manifestation wand, out of the magic wand. He looks at what he sees, and then he creates it. The magician card is a card of as above, so below. But the thing is, you have to know what you want in order to create it. And guess what? This bush has other stuff on it. It has other colors on it. It's got blue, it's got white. But you also have to know that you don't have to copy or do exactly as. You can choose, you can pick and choose what you want. So the expectation problem is that the expectation thing means that, again, if you don't have control of it, you really don't know what other people are putting in, right? It's like when you go to a party and you don't know what the food's going to be, so maybe you eat ahead of time, right? Because you're like, I don't know what's happening here. But it's like, but this is you saying, no, I am going to eat ahead of time to make sure I'm not hungry, not just like, oh, I'm not sure, so I'll figure it out. But like, no, I know exactly what I like to eat. And I know that this person always has that food I don't want. I don't really know what's going to be. I'm going to handle it so I can have a good time. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use my own resources. It's you saying, rather than setting myself up for potential disappointment, I'm going to set myself up to do everything for myself. And if the time comes where I need a miracle, then yeah, I'm going to be in a position to allow for that miracle. I'm not going to sit back and ignore the opportunities that I have to do something because I'm afraid the miracles won't come. But I'm also going to set things up in a way that if they don't, I've still been able to do something. I've still made some progress. So I think what this is also saying is when it comes to union, when it comes to expectations about union in 2021, I think this says focus more on what you can control. Remember what you know about union. Remember that you know that union is an illusion, separation is an illusion. You're always in union in the 5D, even if you're not in the 3D. Remember that you believe, again, this is if you believe this, that you believe that union happens in this lifetime. So there's no reason to be stressed. There's no reason to fret. Remember that you are given everything you need in order to step into union. So if you're not in union yet, it must just mean that you're still, getting everything, collecting everything, and so is your divine counterpart. Trust that there is this initiation energy coming, that 2021, if it's meant to be your year of union, you will know it will shift, it will change, you will see it. Trust that you have the ability to create the life that you want until the time comes. Perhaps for those of you thinking about union with this card, perhaps the white flowers are union, are your counterpart. And the red flowers are you, and the green here is, you guys being together. Well, until the white flowers are able to come in, until you're really able to, assist in the manifestation process when your divine masculine is ready for love, well, get everything else prepared. Get everything else ready so that when this white flower maybe blooms a little bit late on this branch, that you still have everything else in place. I know that there's so many ways that I can explain it, but the point is You need to make better opportunities for yourself to be productive even outside of union, and expectations about union only lead you into that same cycle you've been in of watching reading after reading, not getting the answers that you're looking for, wondering when your person's coming, but never actually moving forward, sitting stuck. Instead, the way you handle expectation is you forget. By being so busy and wrapped up in your own hobbies and getting your life together and just tapping into the expectation and the anticipation and the excitement when you need it and leaving it beside any other time when you don't, that helps so much. Okay? All right, let's keep going. You guys are so sweet. I'm so proud of you guys. You go through so much, and yet you keep going. I'm just, because, even some of you who've never done a reading before or anything like that, we kind of keep up enough in the chat. I know you guys in a way from what you share, and it's just I'm proud of you guys. All right, focus, Grace. What's next? We're going to do, how do we work on filling our own cup? This is going to be advice that comes from your divine masculine. Your divine masculine says the way that you fill your own cup, and I think that this is coming from them because this is a person who has seen you and they look at your life from the outside. And so this person kind of knows a bit about you, even though you wouldn't think this. All right. So let's see. What does your divine masculine need you to know about filling your own cup? Like detaching with love, but loving them unconditionally. I think that this is kind of almost like a permission card from the DM. What do we have here? Ace of Swords in reverse. Put down your sword. Fill your own cup by putting down your sword. The sword is talking about, I call it the power of force. And I think what this is saying is you can't force it. And that's been the problem. Maybe you're forcing your reunion. Maybe you're forcing your twin flame dynamic. Maybe you're forcing, your light work. You're trying to do something that you're not really meant to do. Maybe you're forcing relationships with your family or your friends. You're the one who always calls and you're the one who always, I say to that right there, try not calling or texting people for a full month. Oh, but Grace, that's my job. I'm the one who has to keep up. Okay, well, try not doing it for a month and see what happens. Do they even notice? And if they do they just say, why haven't you called me? Or do they call you and say, I missed you. I was thinking about you. I just feel like some of you need to stop being the one to communicate first. Some of you need to stop being the ones to, confront every situation that needs to be confronted. And this is coming from me. The only reason that people don't like me, like pretty much everyone that I've ever met likes me, unless they just hate me when they meet me, which is why I don't ever give that much credit, because most of those people, I've had like full on people coming to me multiple times saying, I hated you when I met you. And I'm like, I know, you told everyone and they told me. And they're like, you never told me you knew. I'm like, of course I did. But anyways, you need to stop being okay with those kinds of relationships. You need to stop being the one who feels like you have to create the opportunities to come together. You need to stop being the one that always feels like it's your job. And you need to take the time to just step back and step away from things, even confronting when you care. Because guess what? People don't like me because that's what I do. I'm not confrontational. I'm just not going to let something sit. I don't care anymore. And you shouldn't either. You need to find a way to let go and stop feeling like it's your job. Put down your sword. Your sword is supposed to be focused on other things. It's supposed to be focused on your life. Some of you don't want to admit it, but you spend so much time being a busybody in everybody else's lives or even in your own relationships, like creating bigger problems that you need to solve because you are trying to avoid dealing with your own shit. Period. So here we see your divine masculine is saying to you, put your sword down. Stop being the one to do everything first. It could be your DM saying, hey, leave me alone, maybe. But I think this is also your divine masculine saying, hey, I've watched you. I've watched you be the only one who cares. I've watched you want to be, want or try to force things. And I've also watched you be the only force of love in your life for so long. Maybe it's time to pull back a little bit. Love them unconditionally by laying down your sword and not being mad at them, not being sad, not being anything. Only think positive. And when you start to feel yourself thinking negative, try to do like a manifestation exercise to think of positive things, manifest positive thoughts in your mind and a positive thought flow. Lay down your sword. Stop fighting. You really have been fighting 2 battles in 2020. You've been fighting this emotional battle and this 5D battle that says, I have to figure this stuff out. I have to get closer to divine and hear this voice. And I have all this work to do in the 5D. And then you've been fighting this battle with everyone else in your world that says, I'm going to be the one that tries. I'm going to be the one that fixes. I'm going to be the one. Stop. You are the one. You're the one in your life. And you've been the one in everyone else's life. It's time for you to plug in. It's time for you to get what you deserve and be treated the way you deserve to be treated. And the only way that's going to happen is if you lay down your sword and you just let God, source, spirit, universe fight your battles, build and destroy the relationships. It's time to step back. Your DM says, lay down your sword as practice for laying down your sword with me. Why? Because you are so much better than this. 9 of Pentacles says, you are meant to just be enjoying life, enjoying the little things, having a blast, having a good time. You're supposed to be being the pretty hermit in the times when you're in hermit mode. And the truth is, you've known for a while now, for I'm going to say at least a few years, that fighting is not the right way for you to do it. And yet you can't stop yourself. You just can't help it. You don't know why you say the things you say and do the things you do. Sometimes it's like, you should just stop because you mess things up. But sometimes it's because you're fighting people who will never change. You're trying to fix situations that are really unfixable, like really just not for you. So some of you are wasting energy where you should be avoiding those situations, and it's time to make a shift. It's time to make a change. Honor that completion. Your divine masculine is asking you, fill your own cup by focusing on you, becoming the one in your own life, nurturing, cultivating your own garden, tend your own garden. This is so funny. How do you work on filling your own cup? Tend your own garden. Become confident about everything going on in your life. That way, you never feel empty. Because the moment one of your cups, you have more than one cup inside of you. Everyone says you can't pour from an empty cup. You actually have, I believe you have more than one cup. I believe you have at least like 5 or 6. Okay. And so it's like, look, the more in tune you are with everything, attuned to the energies, everything that's going on, the more likely you are to notice one of your cups is getting low. And you can go, oh, that tank needs to be filled up. Okay, cool. But you have to tend your own garden long enough to know, let's say you got 9 cups. I know these are pentacles, but let's say that, right? You've got 9 cups inside of you that as long as they stay full, there's this kind of abundance and this overflow that happens. But once one gets depleted, the whole system starts running faulty, and now we got to get a freaking oil change. And it's crazy. I don't know about cars. So seeing this, it says, if you tend to your own, if you focus on you, lay down your sword, stop fighting other people's battles, stop creating battles, stop fighting your divine masculine, not even knowing that's what you're doing, and just focus on you living your best, being your best, doing your best. Look at this. We've got you. We've got the DM with the Ace of Pentacles. This is 10. Everything kind of just keeps pointing to this energy that says you're supposed to have so much more. And you're supposed to have so much more now. It wasn't supposed to be when you get in union. It wasn't supposed to be 2021 even. For some of you, you were supposed to be experiencing abundance all through 2020. I got blessed with some of it, but even I was making some mistakes, and I ruined a little bit of my own blessings too. This is not just for you guys. This is for me. This is for all of us. So ask yourself, where is it that when did I lose myself? When did I lose my focus on me? When did I forget to be selfish just every once in a while? Not even all the time, but just enough to make sure I'm okay. When did I stop doing that? Because once you figure that out, you might also be able to find the trigger that's going to keep you flowing in 2021, that's going to keep you flowing right back into that same silly cycle of forgetting yourself. You are your most important investment. Lay down your sword so that you can make sure that your investment's right. Because if you cannot fund the war, you cannot fight the war, baby. All right, what else? Oh, you guys, thank you for your donations. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for everything. You guys are dope. Okay, I like this. How do we choose a path when if we feel that there are a lot of options? So some of you feel like maybe, you've got the split path of like, do I go to like the path of life in the game of life where it's like, do I go to college or do I go to school? Or do I go start a job? Some of you, it's like, do I pick this person or do I pick that person? Some of you, it's like, do I, stay with my family or do I leave? Do I move away or do I go? It's like some of you have these opposing choices, decisions, and it's kind of in a good way. Some of you, it's kind of in a bad way, right? But no matter what, you're feeling like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? So let's get some information from our guides and our self. Our inner self wants us to know what? 2020 gave you a lot more clarity about that. So I think that the message here is saying, do not use your 2019 mind to think about 2021, and don't even use your 2020 mind to think about 2021. 2021, you, that version of you, is kind of already here. It's kind of been here since December 12th of 2020. And 2021 you is now integrating all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of 2020 and also the new energies that it's starting to feel for 2021. And that part of you is going to make the choice and the decision about which path to take. Because 2020 revealed a lot. 2020 also took a lot away. 2020 changed the course of American history, which that happens all the time, but it was a major point. And that means that it definitely changed your life and the possibilities and potentials of your path. So this is where you needed to get a vision for 2020. Many of you developed it in 2019. 2020 came, that vision went out the window. Half of you just gave up on it completely. Half of you said, I'll try again in 2021. What you're being asked to do is take the plan that you had in 2019, think about everything that's changed, and basically take the plan completely apart, take away anything that doesn't make sense now, remove anything that you know isn't going to work, add in some new stuff, and redevelop the entire plan. It's going to be a little bit similar, also going to be a little bit different, okay? So when it comes to the path that you're about to take, it's going to be somewhat familiar to you. It's just not going to look the same. It's going to be the sense of deja vu. So your self wants you to know that. Because I think why this warning is coming is because you're going to start making the plans and you're going to go, this kind of looks like the old. Oh, this can't be it. And you're going to try to erase it. And it's like, no. And then some of you, it's going to look so new that you're going to go, this can't be it, and it's like, no, this is it. Okay. So make sure that you're really aware of what 2020 brought when it comes to this. The additions are especially important because 2020, surprisingly, I'm getting a message here that some of the downloads and messages you got, as well as the expansion into your next level, larger, higher self energy, I know it sounds crazy, but it blessed you. It gave you more. And 2020 felt more like a year we lost a lot, but it didn't. It was more so like it cleared things away so that you could see clearly to see what really was supposed to come. So you really gained a lot. What does that mean? Why was this so important? Why is it that we're being asked for us to redevelop the plan based on the new information, but also not to completely let go? Why are we getting this information? Kind of like a little bit of a warning here. Seven of Cups, because it's complex and you don't have all the information yet. So there's still a little bit more that's going to come. That, or the person that you've been thinking of it as is not the person you should be thinking of it as. You need to wait a few more days until 2021 version of you is fully integrated, and then you can start moving forward. You need to wait until you've had that conversation with yourself where you ask yourself, where did I get this idea? Where did I get this belief? Is this really what I think, believe, want, dream of, or is it just someone else's, some cultural thing, some social thing? Maybe there's a few last little minute things, and also maybe there's a couple more closures that have to happen that are going to reveal some new information. So be aware of this. You're getting all this information now so that the path, when it does open up, it can literally like flow forward. Like I see rushing water. Okay. All right. We've only got a couple more questions here. Somebody said, stop thinking that doing you will suddenly stop the union and growth. Exactly. When you go out and do you, it actually encourages your divine masculine to come. Remember, they are the King of Pentacles. So when you become the Queen or the Nine of Pentacles or both, it attracts them. It attracts their vibration because that's what they're vibrating in. You know what? I feel like we need to talk about that. What is the encouragement here for the divine counterparts? How can both of them do them, if you will? And what do we need to understand about that? Wow. Divine masculine, divine feminine, we see syncs here. The Queen of Swords has come up again, and it's right above where we see our Ace of Swords. So this is interesting. Divine feminine, this is saying you can lay down your sword, but you can also have it ready. Meaning, this does not mean that you're supposed to suddenly just act weak. You don't have to, I don't know. You don't have to just lay down. But you just need to know when. Choose your battles wisely, okay? Divine masculine, do you, and divine feminine, I'm also hearing, find the humor when you can. Look for the humor. Look for the humor so that you don't have to feel, because you know what? There's got to be moments where something happens along your journey and you just laugh at God. Like, oh my, not really at, more like laugh with God. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Wow. I just realized why you made me do XYZ. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Like I think it's time that you find this. I'm even seeing kind of Two of Pentacles here. Like take a more playful approach, be a little less bogged down, maybe focus on like one thing at a time, be really objective. There's a lot here that just says, listen, try to be logical now that you kind of have mastered this more emotional aspect of things. That was the point of this. And then divine masculine, do you and follow your heart, because the truth is the divine feminine, you've really never had a problem following your heart, but sometimes you would get caught up in the ups and downs. Divine masculine has always had a trouble following their heart because they follow everybody else, or they try to do things that are like appeasing other people, but they're not really following their heart. I think that this 11 energy says both divine counterparts are coming and getting closer and closer to each other. They're doing a really, really good job. The people that they're becoming are just right. And it's time for both of them to feel like they're willing, they're able to do them and be themselves. Typically, we see this kind of energy flipped. We see more Queen of Cups, King of Swords, and it's saying, listen, you don't have to be so hard and so soft. Divine feminine, you can toughen up a little bit, okay? You don't have to be so DM focused and so gushy mushy, lovey dovey about everything. It's time for you to get a little bit tougher in terms of focusing on your light work and doing your thing. And again, but still having fun, finding a way to balance that. Divine masculine, you don't have to be so cold and logical and rigid about things, okay? You don't have to be so dominant. You can go with the flow a little bit more. And this year, when you do that, based on everything you've learned, this is going to bring you into perfect divine alignment. We're going to see a lot of beautiful things happening for the Twin Flame Collective. This is dope. All right. Final message. Final message. What is it that we need to know about 2020 and 2021? I feel like these are going to go like, right, top and bottom. Okay. So 2020, final message of 2020. I know that it was tough and that spiritually you felt a little bit out of place. There was some confidence issues where you thought, is it me? Am I messing things up? Am I doing something wrong? There were some points where you felt like, even though deep down you knew you were doing the right thing and you were in the right place and you were meant for this, that maybe you were just crazy and you were wrong, and that who are you and what made you special? And it's like, no, 2020 was all about showing you everything you needed to know about the truth of who you were, so that in 2021, when you become that Knight of Swords and you really go in and you really go deep and you really start to make changes, and your opinions matter and people care what you think, and you're respected and all that, when that happens, what do you need to know? You'll be ready. You'll have the courage. This is so funny because this is the least confident page. There's a lot of fear with this energy. But here it says, don't worry about it. I gave you everything you needed. I gave you the courage. I gave you the ability to believe, even though you didn't believe so much. I don't know why, but I'm sensing Sagittarius season had a big, there was awakening that happened around there this year. Interesting. It kind of, a lot of things led to that moment. Interesting. So what is it that we need to understand for 2021? What does this mean? We see that we've been given the bravery for what? Why? Because the wheel of fortune, hello, it is a time of wonderful, positive things. It is a time of master manifestation. This is a dope period of time in our lives. This is an exciting time in our lives. So if you're really ready for what's to come, spiritually speaking, it's all in you. You've been prepared in every single way. Seriously, you've been prepared in every single way. You're prepared for everything that comes your way. I don't know why, but I'm looking over here. I don't know what it is. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I don't know why. That's with judgment. I don't know why. Oh, because the information is going to come. There is going to be a sudden event. There's going to be something that comes, and it's going to give you everything you need to make the decisions. But you already have most of the information. This is why they keep trying to tell you, start getting things in order. And you're going, why? I don't have the motivation. I don't see what's coming. So why would I get things in order? And they're saying to you, we've been trying to warn you for a while. If that resonates, that was also in the freaking exclusives from the other day. Some of you have seen it. Some of you know what I'm talking about. This is a very interesting Wands, Pentacles year for the Twin Flame Collective in 2021. And you see Wands, Pentacles all up and through there. Okay, so what do we need to know in the 5D? Like, what is God doing for us in the collective? What do we need to understand? 8 of Pentacles. It's the divine work. Divine Feminine, you've already been doing this. And now you no longer have to work towards something you don't actually want. So this is going to get a lot more enjoyable. Divine Masculine, you're about to hit the books. My DM has been all up and through the Bible so much, but now he has started another ministry and he's about to be doing even more with his Bible. So this to me really resonates. I feel like you need to take some time to ask yourself what you've already been working on and where you think you're going to expand that. And then maybe take some time and think, what could my DM have been doing? What type of awakening may they have been experiencing? What do I know about them? Where might God or Source Spirit Universe have been working in their life? Because they're about to get to work real hard on their purpose here. So look back to 2018, look back to 2019. 2020 was this final culmination, and 2021 we're in a new space. This is graduation. We're going to college or we just graduate. No, it's more, I think we've more graduated college. 2020 was the last year. And now we've got 4 years, maybe not even that. No, it's not. It's not 4 years. It's like 1 year. It's like if you go directly into this program. Wow, this is weird. It's like, have you ever heard of a program where after you do your undergraduate, if you go directly into the like the master's program, it'll only be like a year because somehow they make it somehow. I don't know. But I've seen a lot of programs like that. That's what I see here. It's like if you get into this right now, those of us who get into this twin flame mission work in 2021, we are going to be on the grassroots of something really big. It's like getting into like, like Bitcoin or something when it starts small and then gets big, Okay, so let's get our final messages to close out. What is it that we need to understand? This reading walked us through, and this, again, we asked questions directly from the collective. So this is something that everyone should be able to resonate with. I feel like most twins are going to need to see this reading. So please do, if you feel that this is a blessing for anyone, please do like, share, all the stuff just to get it around. But okay. We see that our perceptions of relationships are changing next year. 2021 is bringing about a lot of opportunities to do what we were supposed to do forever, but never could figure out how to. It's presenting a lot of opportunities for us to come together, for unions to occur, but also opportunities for people to realize that there's so much more to twin flames beyond union. This is also a year, according to the exclusives, as well as the energies, in terms of the astrology, that twin flames are going to kind of be on the forefront of conversation. It's going to kind of be out there a bit more. So there's a lot of excitement there. So what is it that we need to understand? Let's finalize our energies. Boom. Look at this. Self-discovery is the word that stands out to me. Self-discovery so that you can stand up for your beliefs, the ones that you know are right. We see 8, we see 9, we see, where did my 10 go? Come here, Wheel of Fortune. You stand out to me for some reason. We see this, and to me, I feel like this Wheel of Fortune actually will turn into the Magician and the Fool for some reason. I feel like we're right on the edge in 2021, so much so that it just unfurls very quickly and spills out. So be prepared. I do feel like the year is starting off with like the number 7, 8, 9, 10. Very rapid though. This isn't something we're really going to have to wait on. So just be understanding that the self-discovery, the way that you feel as this year begins and unfolds, it's not going to be anything like you've experienced before. Why? Because this is going to actually be something that you get to be a part of. You are a part of the bigger energy. You get to be a part of the nourishing and the growth. You get to bless the world with your energy and your spirit. You get to be, again, that grassroots movement is really coming. It's like the foundation of the kingdom. Really, you're already a part of it because the foundation was laid in 2020. Some of you know of the prophecy that I've been provided with. And, again, I don't really share my prophecies on this channel. I know most people don't really want to hear anything other than when is my DM coming back. But I think I'm going to have to talk about it because it's pretty much all about twin flames. And I think I'm also going to need some insight from people who know more about astrology than I do. I'm just telling you right now, some of you think that we're kidding around when we say unions are exploding for between 2020 and 2024. And I was saying that years ago when I first started this. I saw a lot of things coming to fruition even before. But some of you think it's like we're saying it to, I don't string you along or listen, it's not about you. And until you realize it's not about you, you're going to watch these readings with the wrong lens. Okay. You coming into union is not about you. It's about the collective and it's about the globe and what you're doing to change the world. So the reason you're coming into union has really nothing to do with you, but that's another story. So look, it's going to feel different and it's going to feel like a quickening. You see that 3 to 9? It's going to feel like a quickening. The expansion that you felt in 2020 is going to be realized in 2021. What do we need to understand in the 5D and the spirit? Now look at this. Empress and Emperor. 2020 was the year the divine feminine was upgraded, integrated, all that. 2021, the divine masculine has about 4 to 6 months to get this done. Some of you will be in union before they're fully integrated, but that's okay. Some of you will have to wait till after. Some of you are going to be there to help them through that process. But this cannot be a coincidence. This cannot be a coincidence that so far, when we talk about the energy of 2021 for the Twin Flame Collective, we end up with all major arcana and all these kind of back-to-back messages. Not 8, 9, 3, 4. And guess what? Oh, look at that. It's in the 5D. This is the deck that I use to refer to the divine feminine and divine masculine as one. That's why we have this deck is the 5D, but then we have these as the 3D, okay? That's because this deck is used to represent who we are as one in the heavenly realm. What are the odds that that card that I typically would say for that is the Chariot, right? The Charioteer is our oneness, and then the two Sphinxes are who we are in the 3D. So now we've got this Chariot energy showing up as well. Come on, guys. 2021 is that year you've been looking for, you've been waiting for. Let's look at both of these 3D. You're not going to believe me, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you. Two of Wands, Two of Wands. Two of Wands, Two of Wands, 11-11 for 2021. Do you understand? What happened in 2020 set you up for your entire lifetime. What happened in 2020? Let's see what the Divine Masculines got back here. What do we need to understand about them? This is about the contract. You know what? The other day, Mr. Lightwork and I were talking about the contract, and the contract came up in the exclusives that I did for 2021. And Mr. Lightwork and I are going to work on the contracts, but now this is my even further confirmation. If you cannot afford to get a contract from me, no problem. But you should at least watch. There are only like 5,000 people who have watched the Twin Flame contract. So Mr. Lightwork and I are going to do a watch party or something. We're going to look at the contract from another perspective for this year. And I just have a feeling that a lot of people need to understand the mission side of Twin Flames. And the contract is one of the best readings I offer for that. Seeing this tells me that both counterparts are finally in line and ready to work on their contract. This is a year where your light work will take off. But let's again understand, what is the Divine Masculine doing as a part of this as they come into their own? Wow, there's the Knight of freaking Wands. There's the Knight of Wands. This is amazing. This is amazing. The Divine Masculine sees that it's time to go out. That it's time to go out. It's time to go forth and conquer. They're standing and moving in divine. Look what's under here, by the way. Just wanted to show up and just remind you underneath it all. Let's just what's under here. Wow. Wow. You can't make this up. Okay, ready? Ready? Underneath the Two of Wands for both 3D cards are the King and the Queen of Pentacles. Again, some of you guys think that I just make stuff up or something. I cannot make it up. I think that's the one reason God has me using cards for the Twin Flame Collective. I don't need the cards. You guys don't really need the cards. You can listen to me and get all the information. But God knows that some of the stuff that he tells me to say is so crazy that the only way you guys will believe me is if he does the Two of Wands, and has me say, oh, let's just check and see what's underneath. And boom, you've got both counterparts. You know what the Two of Wands is? Coming into your own. That's what this is, coming into your own. This is a card that says, I realize who I am and why I am completely capable of fulfilling my contract. And directly underneath, coming into your own for both counterparts, are the opposites. This is the Divine Feminine deck with the King of Pentacles. This is Divine Masculine with the Queen of Pentacles, meaning they're thinking about each other. They're finally in divine alignment. The Divine Masculine is in divine alignment and saying, it's time to go out and get it. It's time to save the day. And that, yes, does create the Four of Wands, by the way, which is another really big deal, given the fact that the only way for the divine counterparts to create the portal that allows them to create abundance that comes out of the 5D and into the 3D that integrates is for them to both be standing in their alignment in their Two of Wands energy, 2-2, boom, boom. Now, what does we have for the Divine Feminine? Divine Feminine. Now, let divine counterparts everywhere. If you don't believe me when I said as above, so below, if you don't believe it, let me show you this. Not only do we have Two of Wands, and then the King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. So that's 11-11 underneath, right? Here we have the Knight of Wands and the 10 of Wands. 11 again. All wands. What did Fiery Grace just tell you? Fiery Grace just told you that 2021 would be a year of what? Hear me out. 2021 would be a year of what? Wands and Pentacles. I got that from the exclusive. So I'm not just making it up. I got it. So some of you are not going to see those readings, and that's okay. You're not supposed to. I do think all twins probably, if they ever going to watch an exclusive, probably should watch the ones about the entire year. But again, if you're not led to, or you just don't buy readings, no problem. You can get some information here. I'll bring things up here and there. But what are the odds that Fiery Grace not only mentions that, but then when we ask what's happening in the 3D, we get 2-1 and 2-1. Again, I can't make this up. You guys need to start to believe. If you're going to watch readings, what are you watching them for if you don't believe? This year, 2021, is going to be a beautiful year for everyone. 2021 is going to be a year for twin flames to finally get down to business. The twin flame contract is a document that a client inspired. A client said to me one day, right when I was still pretty new and early in my mission, said, I know who my person is, but I want to know why. What are we here to do? So Mr. Lightwork and I sat down and we made this spread together. And I did the spread for the collective, and then I did the spread for us. We actually just watched ours a couple nights ago, and it freaked out. He teared up a bit, and I had to pause it like 80 times because the syncs were insane. It was insane. So the twin flame contract is not a soul contract. I don't actually believe in soul contracts, but it's a similar thing. That's the only reason I call it a twin flame contract. What it really is it's a contract between twin flames and divine. It's like a spy mission contract. Okay? It tells you who you were when you were in the heavenly realm as one. It tells you what your mission is, what your strengths and weaknesses are, why you two are in separation, what union is all about. It tells you all the things that you need to know, and it's never going to be a contract between you and your twin because you don't need a contract with yourself. So if anyone lies to you and tells you that you have a soul contract with someone, that says that person is your twin flame, they're lying to you. You do not need a contract with yourself. The twin flame contract is called that by me because I speak your language. In the same way that I talk about chakras but don't believe in them and talk about crystals but don't believe in them, I use these things as a part of my parables. The twin flame soul contract, it's not a soul contract, forgive me. The twin flame contract is a mission control contract. So if you're interested in the mission, then either watch the public one or get yours personally. Okay? You do not need a contract with yourself, okay? But it is the easiest way to verbalize it, so I'm glad y'all get it. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so that's everything. It's late as hell. I've been going for like a few hours here. I'm really, really excited about the opportunities that we see here. You know, you've got 12 here, which is that 21 reverse. You've got 2 1 2 1, and you got 2020 in the mix of the energies in the 3D. So everything that happens for us as twin flames in 2021 is going to make so much sense. So much sense. 2020 is going to make it's going to make all the sense. Give yourself a chance to walk into 2021 with a fresh perspective. It's funny because I just looked at my phone and it's 1:38 a.m. My phone's at 22%. And all I can see for some reason is 2021. I don't know why that's what I see. Don't ask me. But I do. I see 2021. And it makes me feel like the moment you get to this part of the reading, a part of you says, that's exactly what I've wanted. I give myself permission. I give myself permission to walk into 2021 believing, not that this is my best year ever. And no, I'm not going to put a limitation on my life like that and say 2021 is going to be my best year ever. I'm not even going to say it's going to be my best year yet. I'm looking at it and I'm saying it's going to be the year that I begin, the year that I, start over. It's going to be the year that I, grow another size. It's going to be the year that I level up, all with the intention and the purpose, right? The way I close off that sentence is in a way that makes my mission flow forward, in a way that allows me to, take leaps and bounds in what I'm meant to do in this world. I trust myself to walk into 21 as a blank slate, only because I know that what God, source, spirit, universe is going to put onto me in terms of my canvas, you know, this tapestry that will be woven with my life is going to be so much more than anything I could ever expect, anticipate, believe. I'm going to do my best to create the best, and then I'm going to sit back and watch as everything else unfolds and unfurls around me. I'm going to choose one area, maybe two, one or two areas of focus in my life to really get myself flowing. For most of us, it is going to be work and relationships. And I'm going to do everything that I can to make it a year that I'm in divine alignment, true divine alignment, and trusting that whatever is about to come, I was meant for it. I'm fully equipped. And if I don't have it, I can either get it, find it, or it will be delivered to me in perfect timing. I trust perfect timing. I believe in perfect timing. And I understand that since I really kind of am able to live outside of space and time, given my ability to step into the 3D, that I really don't have to stress anything. Because if I need to, I can just walk over to the 5th dimension and grab it. See, that's, some of y'all don't get it yet, but you're going to get it. Some of you are going to watch this reading again in a few months, 6 months, a year, whatever. And you're going to go, oh my gosh, Grace was right. It ain't me. That's all God trying to talk to y'all, trying to love you through me, the reluctant prophet. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get some more work done. Trying to clear the booking list off completely before 2021. Pretty darn close. Really excited. Mr. Lightwork's been really supportive in that. By the way, now is a great time. I've got a really good sale going on everything on my site. Oh, I haven't done this in so long. Hey, y'all, what's up? This is my site, thefierygrace.com. So, okay. So you can go to my website right now. I've got 44% off, including off sale prices. So again, the sale price, with the discount of 44% off makes some of my readings. I don't know why I keep doing it, but I told y'all how I am about deals, and like I'm like a thrift store queen, and I just like discounts and stuff. And it's the holidays, and I promise that just because of the number of people I have emailing me all the time asking for discounts, I just figured the rest of the year and throughout the rest of the time where everyone's being economically impacted by everything going on, I was just going to keep offering discounts. But 44% off plus the other stuff is pretty good. Now might be a good time for you to get a contract reading. But also now's a really good time to get like love letters and stuff like that. So if you're interested, most likely I can have those readings done in the next week or two, or less, just because of how few readings I have on the booking list right now. So good time to get some discounts in, really good time to get exclusives. If you just don't have a lot right now, which I get, it's just right after the holidays and all that. But you really do want, and feel led to get a reading, but you can't get a personal right now, get the 2021 exclusives. It comes with 5 readings, the package, the whole package, or you can just buy individual readings. But the 2021 exclusives, oh man, some of y'all have seen them, so you know what I'm talking about. But it's like a few hours worth of readings. Like I think like 3 hours worth of readings for like 30 or 40 bucks right now with the discounts, which is really dope. But it's more so just the information that comes through. It's crazy. The good news is with the 2021 package, you can buy it anytime throughout the year. So if you can't get it now and you want, or just want to wait because you know you're not really ready yet mentally and spiritually, then just wait. But if you're interested, like I said, I got some good deals now. And somebody thanked me for my deals earlier, and I'm like, all right, I need to start telling people because I feel bad. All right. thefierygrace.com. Email me at thefierygrace@gmail.com. You'll get an auto reply back. The auto reply will have some links to help you get started. But if you click the frequently asked questions, or like, what is it like to, or what's next in the booking process link, it's just going to take you to my website and just a page on my website that kind of walks you through what it's like to work with me. So the information used to be in the auto reply. It's now you click a link and it will take you to it. So it's very self-explanatory. But if you need anything from me, that you don't think you need to hear directly from me, but you just need some information, like which reading do I pick, or how does it work, or all that, then the auto reply will help you with that information. I accept PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. Again, if you're interested right now, like love letters and regular DM and DF readings, like personal readings, are the best prices you're going to get. Because I basically made my sale prices for the most popular readings like really, really low, since I figured that's what most people would want. So that's where I say, if you buy one of those with 44% off, I think I honestly don't, I hate to give a price because I haven't done the math, and then it'd be like more or less. But what I will say is right now with the discount I have on the exclusives, you can get some of these exclusives for like $5 or $6. So I know that's really, really helpful. All right. I think that's everything. I didn't do a good job with this, but what's up? Welcome. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted. This is my channel, and I've been really busy lately, so I forgot how to do this. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. I'm out of here. I love you. I hope that you had a really, really beautiful holiday season, holy day season. I hope that you have a really, really beautiful time leading up to the closing of this year. And I hope that if you're watching this at any point later, that you think back to the magic of 2021, how things started, how things went. And I think you'll actually be surprised at what you've missed, but grateful that whenever you come upon this information, that you get it and it makes sense and you're ready to move forward whenever it may be. Even if you see this on December 31st, 2021, if you get it before that year ends, I believe that something is meant to happen for you. So trust it, walk with it, align yourself with your purpose, align yourself with all things divine. If it is good, focus. Queen Fierce, I'm watching you. You got a lot of contradictions yourself, my love. I'm watching you, baby. Everybody be positive, be cautious in your jumping to conclusions because you're Mr. or Mrs. Technicality when you're watching these readings and when you're listening to a reader who doesn't say what you want them to say or what you need them to say to you in that moment. When you're searching and seeking answers, everything sounds like a contradiction. Trust yourself, go within, and listen to people in context, okay, guys? I love y'all. I hope that you have a wonderful night. I hope that things feel different, okay? I hope they feel different. Because it is different. It's been different for weeks. And if you still don't feel it, I won't say if you still don't feel it. I'm sure you feel it. I'm going to say this. If you still don't understand what you're feeling, it's because you're not really ready for this goodness yet. You still think bad is coming. Tell yourself it's okay to feel good, okay? Love you guys. Bye, Queen.